Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
It's your boy, Evan Closky, again, in the black shirt.
Love it. We are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your very first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all the platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. You know, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays and send us them emails, lockedonrays@gmail.com. All right. I have a prognostication that
Rays World Series next year. I got the same one.
Same.
Yeah, no chance.
Weird.
No.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Still salty, Ulysses.
There
I know,
are
dude,
many
it's okay.
other.
You're gonna get the survey. It's okay, but they're gonna get to the World Series. It's all right.
There are many other bets on BetOnline that I would take before the Rays winning the World Series in 2023. That aside, you mentioned World Series, and I have an intuition that Ulises is watching more playoff baseball than myself and Ulises and Closky, maybe combined.
Dude, I'm like drowning in playoff baseball, and this is so odd for me when the Rays are eliminated. When the Rays are eliminated, I cannot see a picture of a baseball bat because I will just be so angry. I would just like disintegrate, like Infinity War. I would just like just go away into the ether. But this season, because of the way that it ended, because it was like so obvious, but I didn't want to say it on the pod, that this team just looked so, and I'm going to say it, flaccid, that it was just,
And of all the words,
it just looked so, it was unappealing
Weak.
baseball.
I
Weak.
mean,
That's a synonym. Guys, it's...
I'm going to step away for a second.
I'm serious. It just looked so not like the type of baseball that you want to see.
Yeah.
I'm watching these games and I'm like, oh, this is what they're supposed to do. Oh, the Phillies, the team that with no defense whatsoever, but stepping up when they need to. The pitchers stepping up when they need to. San Diego coming back. Jake Cronenworth, Rays farmhand, now stepping up with clutch hits and great glove work. That's what we're watching. I'm loving this, especially the NL side. The AL side is a little bit more, the Yankees and the Astros were the big favorites, but I don't know if you have some big takeaways from this playoff so far.
the big takeaway is that evidently the Phillies are on that blue pill, and the Rays need some more of it. That's what I'm learning from you, Ulysses.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I think first off, the number one takeaway is, again, playoff baseball is a small sample size. All right. The Dodgers, the Braves, the Mets, all these teams that were juggernauts in the regular season just kind of ran into a better team, a hotter team, or they just didn't perform up to capabilities those few games. I mean, over the course of 162 game season, there are ebbs and flows for those three teams that I mentioned. The lows were fairly rare in the grand scheme of things, but that's sort of baseball. That's the crappy part of it, and that's the beautiful part of it, is that we take a game that we know so much about these teams over a course of 162 games. Then we say, you know what? Forget it. How are you in 25 games in October, maybe November with this year? But and say, are you going to perform when you're needed? And that you can draw it up all you want, but in the end, it comes down to your players having the stones to come through over a month's period of time to figure it out and make it all work to create magic. And, look, the Phillies, right? They're just playing out of their minds right now. And the way that they drew it up before the season is a way that has drawn up now. and they lost game 2, so that series is tied at 1-1. But the fielding has not been as big of a factor in the postseason, and as it has been over the course of a larger sample size. The Padres, it's their strong head of the snake with the staff is coming through, and their bullpen, which was also crap throughout the season, it's figuring itself out at the best possible time. That's the same thing with the Phillies too. Just awful bullpens figuring it out. And that's ultimately what it ends up coming down to is the pitching. And so that's why, with the Rays, their hitting was so bad that it couldn't overcome the fact that their pitching was so damn good. And, and the Guardians ran into some depth issues against the Yankees. When you're throwing out Aaron Savali in a do-or-die game, and don't even get me started on this, because one of the biggest gripes that I have for a Guardians team, which I respect a lot, especially with the way that they do business, is very similar to the Rays. They're super smart. The fact that they did not throw Shane Bieber out there on 4 days rest to face the Yankees, and they threw out Aaron freaking Savali, who sucks against the Yankees, you deserve to go home. Get out of here. Nestor Cortez pitched on short rest. Everyone was pitching on short rest. It's one freaking day. It's Shane Bieber. Figure it out. I'd rather go down losing, knowing that I threw Shane Bieber out there, than going out because Aaron freaking Savali was pitching. And now that I'm saying this, he's going to be a future Ray. But
I know. But even if you were to tell me, look, man, that fact that you didn't put him in there in short rest, Shane Bieber, now you saved his career for the next 12 years. Whatever, but you had more arms in the bullpen. You could have made that whole game a bullpen game. You had Stefan, you have Karinchak, you had Clase. You could potentially, and even Bieber for a couple innings, but you had a whole bullpen of guys that could have gotten you through 9 innings.
Yeah,
I didn't understand that, and obviously I was pulling for the Guards. I don't ever want to pull for the Yankees. And there was a poll that we put out today on the Locked On Rays Twitter handle, and I was surprised. I don't know. Were you able to see this, Kevin?
I was not, unfortunately.
The poll said, who are you rooting for in the ALCS? Astros, 36%. Yankees, 9%, not watching it, 55%. So I guess I am in the minority of I'm actually diving in, head deep into the playoffs. But I am still surprised about that 9% for Yankees, Kevin, aren't you?
Should be zero. I guess the trash cans really still leaves a stain. I would probably be on the side of the majority because we are knee deep into college football, knee deep in the NFL. NHL is just underway. NBA is kicking off. You have a proclivity towards soccer. Go for it. You can watch some of that going on. Once the Rays, I have more or less checked out from the playoffs. I got to be honest. But I find it hard if you're a hardcore Rays fan, how you could justify rooting for the Yankees personally.
I don't get it.
I'll tell you this: that I think the poll, should have also had an option of I don't give a crap about the ALCS. Give me the NL winner.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
that should have been option D. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the Padres would be a fun story. The Padres are an organization who's never won a championship, I believe, and if they can pull that off, I'm a big fan of seeing cities kind of have that moment and to experience it for the first time. It would be interesting to see the curse of the trash can, find life and actually be a thing and not just ending after 4 years, but
yes, wouldn't that be such a lovely punishment? Their only championship will be forever tainted. That's the one they get. That's the one they get to be proud of in that organization, is the one they achieve by just completely cheating. I think that would just be such a nice little punishment for that fan base. and those players and those teammates that's it. And that ownership, that front office, like that's it.
Yeah.
That's the one you got.
I mean,
and everybody will remember.
There is a part of me that if the Yankees were to win a World Series, the only part that I would enjoy is Brian Cashman just doing a Kirk Cousins to the fan base and just like, you like that? Flipping his finger off at the parade. Just literally just, kind of like doing some like, WWE, like, oh, what are you saying now? I see you in the crowd. It's funny. You were giving me crap all these years. And what I do, I brought another championship to the city. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. So there's a part of me that wants to see Brian Cashman do that. And then, as far as the Phillies are concerned, I really don't have anything that would intrigue me there. You know what? I'd be cool with Bryce winning a championship, to be honest. To me, Bryce Harper has like this weird. People don't like him, and I don't get it because I think that he's good for the game of baseball. And like, I get it if you don't like him in a sense of he's really good at the sport and I hate playing against him, but he's not like a jerk. I think he actually, some of his like, he just, the home run that Schwarber hit is going to be a lifetime GIF. His reaction to that, clown question, bro, is another great one. I think he came in he was like the it guy, and he came off as sort of like maybe this guy's like a pompous prick, but he never really he never was whatever people made him out to be because of how he looked or how young he was. He came up, he played with his hair on fire. It got him into trouble. He got him into trouble, and he got injured a lot. He learned how to control it, and I don't know. I'm cool with him winning a title. To be honest, what has he done wrong? I don't know. I think he's a good ambassador.
It's just because he's rich and really good at baseball and good looking, and he gives off.
There's a million players like that though, and like they don't get the crap that like Bryce gets. I don't know, whatever. I'm just trying to put a positive spin on like the Phillies winning, like. I don't know. I'm just very concerned for the state of, our world if Nick Castellanos has to bat in a World Series because when he hits a home run, something usually preceding it is something bad happening.
Right.
Well, Kevin,
we will continue. We will continue the discussion, but yeah.
Where would he put him?
You know where I'm going with that. Again, if you're looking at the MLB postseason picture, and you're like, I might want to get some action on this. Well, you can by going to BetOnline. BetOnline.net. It is your number one source for betting football and the start of the new basketball season. You can find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every single game. As always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering info with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport that is out there. We're talking MLB, of course, MMA, boxing, golf, so many more. So head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about that. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Evan, you talked about maybe liking the storyline of the Padres, but how realistic are the Padres to win a World Series? I mean, out of the four teams remaining, Yankees, Astros, Phillies, Padres, which team has the best shot to take the crown here?
I have it. Astros, Yankees, Padres, Phillies. As 1 to 4 is most likely in my head.
And going back to that poll, what's interesting is that I know it's unconscionable to definitely root for the Yankees if you're a Rays fan. And I get the I don't want to vote at all thing. But if you at least are like a native of Tampa and have a lot of passion for Tampa and Tampa Bay, you could at least find some rooting interest in Kyle Tucker, my doppelganger, by the way, and Lance McCullers. At least there's a pair of guys that have deep Tampa ties.
That's right. Pride
I'll
of
race you one.
Jesuit and plant.
What about a former Cy Young winner for your team that gave you so much happiness in Blake Snell? Wouldn't a Rays fan be like, you know what? I'm rooting for Blake and the Padres.
Let me say this
ring?
about the Blake Snell thing. First off, we love Blake here in town. He did great things with the Rays, and forever Cash will have that moment to deal with. But let it be known that there's just every time he starts, I got to hear a question from somebody that's like, well, what's it like pitching for the Padres where they're going to let you roll out however long you want? And it's
those are your people, that sports media. One question, bro.
But my thing is like, and then he always answers like, like you got pulled out of that World Series. Wouldn't you like to have another crack at it? Like it's, and like, he's like, oh, I was pitching good that day. It's like, Blake, look, I get it, man. I get it. But literally in your 2 years with the Padres, you know how many times he's pitched a complete game? You know how many times he has pitched 8 innings? 0. And the amount of times he's pitched 7 innings? 7 times. Okay. Man, not 3, 7. In 2 years, okay. He's pitched 7 times, 7 innings. His 3 starts, everyone was gushing over the start he had against the Dodgers. He went 5 1/3. I mean, like, the guy is just who he is. He is inefficient and effective. His inefficiency, I think, also is part of his effectiveness because he's a nibbler and it gets him in trouble with pitch counts, but he has such strikeout abilities that he's able to wiggle out of it. And he's got such nasty stuff that he finds his own enough to not have blow-up innings. But, like, let's get over the freaking fact that the Padres are going to let him pitch however long he wants. The fact of the matter is he ain't pitching more than 7, all right? Like, we have a long freaking sample size. He ain't going that long, all right? He's not going to be able to make it that long. So, enough. Like, literally, it's like Bob Melvin would love to pitch him 9. Kevin Cash, I'm sure, would love to have pitched Shane McClanahan 9, learning from that lesson with Blake Snell. But they're also like, it wasn't like Blake Snell was super fresh and like, he had like 5 days rest and he can go however long he wants. Like, there was a whole layer of a year that is how they used him and utilized him. And it's like rehashing that crap is just so old. It's like so low-hanging fruit. I don't know exactly what happened in that moment, but I do know this. And then just making it kind of a story because Blake Snell's on the mound in the playoffs. It's like, okay, come up with something new. All right. We're better than that. In the media, we're better than that.
It's also, Bob Costas could not help himself to bring up the 2017 Astros every 18 minutes.
He can't help himself with everything.
He can't help. By the way, him narrating a baseball game, like it's basically entering into this like 1920s museum where they give you like those old telephones, and then you you hear the press 1 to hear about this museum part.
I think
like, he's that guy, and I'm like, dude, just narrate the baseball. I think not everything that comes out of your mouth is like gold. Like, stop, just like.
I think he just tries.
You know what
to
I'm
be
gonna
like
say, but I'm not gonna say it.
He tries to be Vince Scully, but there's only one. There's only one Vin. All right, and I think that in his head, he's like, I mean, Bob Costas is one of the greatest broadcasters of all time. But I think putting him in the studio is the best way to utilize his strengths. And, the magnitude of the moment doesn't need superfluous sound always.
Yes. Thank you. I thought I was the only one.
No, Evan, Francesa actually said it the best, and it's a great rant.
Better broadcaster, Francesa or Costas?
Well, Bob Costas, but the most entertaining ever is Mike Francesa. It is so tough to be that wrong so often and also be who he is. I mean, he is New York. He is New York.
He went to USF for like a semester, by the way. But Francesa, give him credit. If there's only one thing to give him credit for, it's the fact that he did a radio show for like 6 hours a day. by himself
That's
for
unreal.
a period of time in New York.
He is.
That's unreal.
He is because he is all warts and all. He's absolutely ridiculous, but he is New York. Like when you bottle it up and you put all like the crazy takes together and all the ridiculous thoughts and the accent, Francesa pops out of the other end. Like he is him and what the Mad Dog did back in the day. That was just peak entertainment. And there's been some iterations of it in sports media that have come close. There have been more successful versions of it, but I mean, to truly, to me, I don't think there's anything that's been like that. And
Don't get me started on don't get me started on Mad Dog because oh my goodness, he is just full of bad takes. Power rankings. He is just. I cannot. I have to switch the channel. I have to switch the channel. I think purgatory or a level below would be to just be in a room with a bam and just him playing on a loop. That would just be the
big TV guy.
Literally, that's actually believe it or not, that's what they did in Guantanamo Bay. They just put Mad Dog on a loop.
Mad Dog. Yeah, that would get it. I would tell you all the secrets. All of the secrets. Evan ranked the last 4 teams alive this way: Astros, Yankees, Padres, Phillies. Kevin, I need your power ranking.
Oh boy. In terms of who is
more likely to
best
win,
chance to
You're not fandom. Don't take emotions into it. Just who you think 1 to 4.
Oh, God. I'll say Astros, Phillies, Padres, Yankees.
Phillies too?
Yeah.
He's writing.
I'm taking fandom into it. I'm going to Philly this weekend, and I'm going to get hammered for it. So,
I'm going to switch.
Look,
So we all have different force.
I'm just going by how World Series have gone in the past of it's the team that we don't expect to get there. That's how I'm doing it. I'm not going by. I'm not necessarily going by rosters. 1 to 26 here. Let's look at the history. Let's streamline the history of recent World Series and see how they've gone.
Let's throw a dart at the dartboard and see where the hell it goes.
Which is why I'm wondering. There's going to be a day where the wild card is going to be a best of 5, and the DS is going to be best of 7. If these upsets keep happening.
We'll pray for that for that day to come. I will give you mine: Astros, Padres, Yankees, Phillies.
Okay.
I think that Padres, dude, Hader is turning it on at the right time. That 3-headed monster of Darvish, Snell, and Musgrove is nasty. You that's not even mentioning Clevenger. The bats, Machado, Soto. I mean, even Trent Grisham has been on fire, and he is a guy that's batting Mike Zunino type level of production.
Pride of San Antonio Missions, baby. I cover Trent Grisham.
There you go. Well, Trent Grisham is doing well. And Jake Cronenworth just destroyed the DS, so I think they have a lot of fire.
He needed to after his series with the Mets was.
It just makes me upset when you mention Jake Cronenworth because it's what could have been.
Yeah, look, I mean, there are a lot. There are a handful of Rays players this year where you just think, man,
what if
Nathaniel Lau, Nathaniel Lowe.
That's actually a mailbag question, Evan. That's crazy. That's a mailbag question we just got this week that we will do next episode. What if you could pick 3 players that are out and then put them in the 2022 roster? And then what he said, I was like, oh man, that hurts.
So you guys believe that it's going to be Astros Padres in the World Series?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I should say the World Series, the Capital One World Series,
of course.
And the Lone Depot ALCS. We have to make sure.
Is that what's really called? The Capital One? Is that the promotional thing?
Capital One World Series, baby. That's what it is.
Ugh. Dude,
gotta go with it.
Manfred, stop selling hats for everything, dude. My goodness, Manfred.
Money.
Stop. God, man.
All right, let's venture into baseball trivia and name that war. Ulises, do you have trivia for us today?
I do, and honestly, folks, I think everybody listening / watching, and I know that those that are watching are subscribing because they want to help us reach Rays fans that have not heard of Locked On Rays. So they're subscribing and liking, and then putting down comments on the comment box. Nobody's gonna get this. I don't think anybody watching, listening, or you both are going to get this question. This question is ridiculous, but I will say it anyway. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that brothers faced off in postseason history. I just need you to name me one that is not 2022 NLCS Aaron versus Austin Nola.
6 sets of brothers who faced off in the World Series against each other.
So pitcher and a hitter?
Postseason. In the postseason.
No, not necessarily.
Would the Boone brothers?
Strike one.
I didn't think that was going to work out.
So we just what's the total we need? Just one. Just get one set of brothers.
Just one, and I will, and this is why I think it's kind of a.
I got it.
9 of them.
Roberto Alomar and Sandy Alomar.
This guy. Yes, that is correct. Wow. Yes. 1996, the ALDS, Sandy Jr. versus Roberto Alomar. And then the 1997 ALCS. I will give you the other ones because you sure as heck will not get these. 1920 World Series, Doc versus Jimmy Johnston. 1921 through 1923 in the World Series, Bob versus Irish Musil. 1964 World Series, Ken versus Cleet Boyer. 1985 ALCS, Garth versus Dane Iorg. So that's your history lesson for today. This is me acting like Bob Costas. Now here we have Name That War, brought to you by Kevin Weiss.
I should have done a Josh Naylor bat flip with that answer of the Alomar brothers.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Man, you can't be doing the cradle to baby when you're down 3-2, bro.
Doesn't make sense. Do the trash talk after. After.
There better be a tying or a go-ahead home run.
Yes.
Maybe he didn't realize the score or something like Manny Ramirez.
No.
Yeah.
That man had a crappy playoff and finally got a hold of one and was like, yo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm loving the energy. I'm loving this. This is great stuff for the game. But it would have been as Bautista just doing that bat flip, the best bat flip in history, and then them being down 3 runs after that. Like, bro, that doesn't work that way.
Well, it was 3. It was a 1-run game, but yeah, I mean,
not the same.
No, you cannot be down in that situation.
My Name That War and Roberto Alomar, also a former Tampa resident, I should say. He used to live in Avila and sold his property for like $10 million.
Must be nice.
My Name That War is a guy I'm sure you all are familiar with, and I figured why not a little postseason flair with this. He played several years with the San Diego Padres. In fact, his baseball reference headshot, mugshot, whatever you want to call it, is him in a Padres ball cap. His name is Phil Nevin. What is Phil Nevin's career war?
Oh my God.
This is unfair. When was his last? Can you tell me the last year he played?
The last year he played 2006. So right in the prime of our baseball watching careers.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm gonna overshoot this one, aren't I?
I'll give you a hint.
I think I'm going to go under.
I'll give you a hint. He has as many All-Star appearances as Blake Snell. There's your hint.
All right. I still have a feeling I'm going to go over. I'll go with 23.2.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 17.8.
And those are your respective final answers. Phil Nevin played 12 years in the Bigs, 7 years with the Padres, 3 with Detroit, 2 with Texas, a year apiece with the Twins, the Cubs, the Angels, and the Astros. He had a 270 career batting average, 208 homers, 1,131 hits. He made, like I mentioned, as many All-Star appearances as Blake Snell, uno. His career WAR, his OPS plus for his career was 114, by the way. Ulises is the closest. Nevin's career WAR was 15.9
Yeah.
for the third baseman, first baseman, and outfielder.
Cool. That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Very good.
I
always remember when I played the video games back in the day.
Thought he had a couple of big years in there to kind of splash the pot, but
yeah, I mean, he had a year. His All-Star season, he had 41 home runs. The year before they
I put him on a 2 WAR average over 10 years.
41.
Well, let's remember, I mean, when he was playing with the Padres, the only people that were getting All-Star appearances were probably Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman.
Ken Caminiti. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the second Ken Caminiti reference I've done in the last 5 shows.
No.
Too many.
Oh, wait till my next trivia question next week. There may or may not be a Ken Caminiti question or reference in there. I've already got it plugged
Very
up.
nice.
All right. Thank you, guys. Closky, where can people find your work?
Yeah, at Closky WTSP, also 10tampabay.com. I know the Rays season is over. Sadness ensues. But we got the Buccaneers right now trying to figure out their crap. We got the Lightning right now trying to figure out their crap. So you got to come watch us so that we can decipher all this crap and make it nice and shiny for you. So
I was at the Lightning game the other night, home opener. 2 personal pan pizzas, a diet soda, and a beer was like $54 plus $35 for parking. The Lightning are trash in that regard and respect. Unacceptable.
54 for a Coke, a beer, and 2 pan pizzas. That's 54.
The beer is a big beer, right? You got to.
It was a tall boy. It was a 25 ouncer. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how they get you.
54.
Yeah. You get 2.
In this economy.
In this.
And the pizza, the personal pan pizza. I won't give you the name of the company, but it was a piece of cardboard with ketchup. And I say that to say it wasn't that good. So you need to step the game up, Lightning. Be better.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, Kevin's going to complain about something if it's not the dollar menu at the
Facts.
Where can I get a 4-piece McNugget, guys? Come on.
Gosh darn it. Where's my McNuggets
This
at?
pizza is too flaccid for me. Come on.
Oh, my God.
That's the word of the day.
Wrapping up.
There you go, guys.
Oh, I just said wrapping up. I can't even say that, can I?
Yeah. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your very first listen every day. Be sure to make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast with our buddy Sully. I think he's still out in California. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.